Well, hello and welcome to that beautiful time of the day where you sit back and we bring the conversations and we go in depth. And today could be one of the most important conversations. You know why? You see, one sheikh, I think Sheikh Bagaya said, women are God's partners in creation on earth. And how right was he? Why, without women, probably we would have ended, the world would have ended many years ago. And I keep saying that if men were to give birth, I'm sure everybody would have given birth to half a child, and that would have needed certificates and medals to prove that this is what we did. Sunday will be Mother's Day, and every Mother's Day, rightfully so, we all pay attention to our mothers. Basically, a mother is any responsible adult female that can take care of another child, becomes the mother, and we celebrate them. Any society that neglects a mother, that society is almost doomed. Any society that neglects a mother, refuses to educate the mother or give that mother opportunity to pass on to their children, that society is nothing to write home about. And gradually, Ghana is slipping into that. You drive by traffic lights and, you see the number of children who should have been in school that are at the traffic lights. And even those who have just come out of school and because of missed opportunity have to hustle for PK for a living. I am telling you that if they had mothers that were teachers, they had mothers that were doctors, nurses, engineers, architects, the chances of them standing on the street would be very, very slim, because that mother would have gone through every length to give that child an opportunity not to end up on the street. But here we are. So every street child you see is an opportunity denied the mother who she was not able to pass on to the child. And as Mother's Day is coming, we are going to celebrate mothers. And I have one champion mother in studio that we're going to celebrate today. But we'll go to the phone lines because I know there are many harrowing stories out there that you call in and share your story. My name is Nana Ansakwa, the fourth Chief of Akwamu Edumasa, and your favorite TV show host. Don't touch that remote. We're coming straight back. Well, beautiful title today, A Mother's Heart, sacrifices that mothers make for their children. And I have my own share of stories. I could do 10 episodes, and the story about my relationship between my mother and I'm a mommy's boy. Let me confess that. I am a self-confessed mommy's boy, and I make no apologies about that. And we're going to talk about Daryl, who's also a mommy's boy, probably just like me. But with me in studio is Raquel Na Kokoi Kwe.
Yeah.
Is it Rachel?
It's Rachel.
Rachel. Yes. Rachel Na Kokoi Kwe. Rachel, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Rachel, your story is one that's touches the heart. But before we even get to this part, I want to go back to when you were young, so that I can, you grew up in a single home family, or mother and father were there. How did you grow up?
Actually, I had my mom and my dad around. Yes, they were married, and so we grew up together. Actually, by then, my dad was a bit well-to-do, so I think I went to St. Thomas Daycare Center, then I went to Soul Clinic International School, then I went to Ghana Secondary School, Koforidua, then I pursued to do other courses.
Okay. Did you have other siblings, big family, small family?
We were 3 in number.
Okay.
I have a senior sister and a little brother.
Okay.
But I'm actually older than my brother, like 10 years. Yeah.
The pension baby.
Yeah.
Pension baby. Which area did you grow up in?
Actually, I grew up in La.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun times?
Yeah. The school that I went to, fortunately, we had some vacations and we had some good things. So mostly we have fun fairs that we attend. Those days, I think that was in the 1990s. We had fun fairs that we attended. We had Sometimes they do modeling shows in the school, basketball competitions and all that. So it was fun in school.
What are some of the fun memories, like maybe with your mom or dad? What are some of the fun memories that you had growing up?
Oh, okay. Actually, when I lost my dad
Hmm.
was when we actually saw, as I said from the beginning, I didn't really know what life was as in, because I was like born with a bit of a silver spoon in my mouth. So, but when my dad died, everything changed. That was when I saw the real essence of a mother.
They took the spoon away.
Actually, that is why I always advise that maybe that's why I'm in my line of business too. Because you need to write wills and stuff so you can share things amongst your children. Because I actually realized my dad had 6 wives.
After he died.
Yeah, that's what I realized. So actually, my mom was a legal wife, so he was with us. I don't know how he managed to split himself to the others, though. Yes. So my mom did so well for us, because after he died, you could see people just came in like, oh, I'm his child, I'm like that, and I like that. So almost all his assets were frozen. So at a point in time, it became so scary. So my mom asked us not to go near it. You know about Ghanaian mentality, they'll kill you and all that. So then we had a house, quite a big house at Spintex. So then we moved into the house. And fortunately, my mom's name was on the documents. So it wasn't added to my dad's assets.
So the other wives and siblings couldn't touch it?
No. So everything else, we didn't know what happened to it, because my mom didn't allow us to pursue anything.
Just left it for the others?
Yes, because it looks like at a point in time, they were all like, oh, you guys have gotten everything. So, like, he gave us all the attention and everything. You could imagine from school, so clinic, it's like East Cantonment. They'll pick us up from school. You go to a zoo before they had wear backletters, Afridom, supermarkets. You just go there, buy everything, go to Papaya and all that. So we really had, but when he died and they all surfaced and things were like going bad, and my mom was actually scared. So
how did mom support when daddy wasn't there?
Okay, my mom at that time, she used to sell at Mokola. Yes. So when in Ghana, when your husband dies, you have to stay in a room for a couple of months or so after the burial. You still have to stay there and wear black. But I don't know why the men don't wear black for that long before you get out of it. So during those periods, actually I was in my final year in SS3 when he died. And that was when I saw the real thing. I think my mates in Ghana could testify. My job was more or less like a supermarket. But when he died, I was in my last year and in my third term. So I was almost about to write my SSC. So that was the term that I went to school, was when I saw that, hey, there's something really had happened. Because could you believe that I only took Gary, I think pepper, and a couple of things. And to me, I just couldn't understand it, because so I was the saddest person on earth, as in like I just went through and I completed school. My mom has done so well for us, that I should say. Even now, she takes care of my boy for me, because later you get to know more about my story. But my mom had to sacrifice to me. Sometimes she has to take, the clothes that have not been sewn, she has to sell it. Wow. So that could tell you that my dad didn't leave us, like, he left a lot of things, but we didn't get anything. And so thank God he pays school fees in advance. So my school fees was already paid by then and all that. But apart from that, when I came back home from SS, I don't even want to remember it. I remember when I came, normally we would eat and everything, but I saw the kitchen was like, the pots were empty. The freezer was empty.
No shopping from Africa?
Nothing. The freezer was empty. The fridge was empty. And I remember it was only water that was there. So I thought I wasn't in my house. Like I felt I wasn't in my house. But later I was like, whoa. So my mom did some pepper. She wasn't allowed to go out to work. So the little she had, we had to use it. So I remember one day she grinded pepper. And I haven't eaten that kind of food before. So I was just crying. I was just sitting down and I was like, a big girl crying. I was just crying and just asking myself, where from this? Why this? Why should even God allow this to happen to anybody on this earth? So that was actually when I really started life. So I had to go and look for a job.
Wow.
Yes, as a waitress. At on the Spintex Road, they have the place. That's what it's called now. Around 17, 18. Fafali joints there. I worked there for a while, and then I had to. The Kufu administration, they had something. It's about helping people to learn a trade. They sponsor people to learn a trade. So that's when I decided to do beauty therapy.
Okay.
So because I was a science student in school, so because I was so fresh from school, I was able to, I joined the class, and I did anatomy and physiology and other things. And after that, I was employed in the school as a lecturer, and I was working in the salon as well, just to make ends meet.
Wow. Life had begun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you pursue other courses outside of that?
Yes. After the beauty therapy, I did the certificates. So I pursued to do the diploma. Okay. So I have City and Girls International certificates as we speak now. But because of the same issue, financial issues, I couldn't really pursue and continue. So then I looked for a sales job later. But I worked with Alio Spa in the city for some time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, of course. They've been on the show before.
Yeah.
They've been on the show before. Anyway, so then you grew up, you became a big girl, and then you met your knight in shining armor?
That side of the story. Wow. Actually, apart from everything, my mom has a very strong Christian background. So by then I was attending one church, one of the old churches. And I was a Sunday school teacher there. So this gentleman, actually, there's this foster home around the church, and the kids come to the church. So the church also adopted the kids. So as a Sunday school teacher, you have to sometimes go there, teach them how to cook, how to cater for the house. That's for the ladies and the guys, to teach them other things. So eventually, this gentleman saw me, and he started saying that he wanted to marry me. Actually, he came straight with marriage. He didn't even say he wanted to date or anything.
No dating, no courting, straight to
nothing. And I like that. It's a big question mark. Yeah. So I told him by then I was, I think, around 22. So I told him that I finished school. Let me see what is in the world a bit before I can hook myself with marriage and all that. Oh, this gentleman kept on pursuing, calling some of my friends, telling them, this lady doesn't want to marry me here and there. Eventually, I was like, okay, fine. If you want to marry me, go see my parents. And that was it. And
he did? He went to see
he went to see my parents. And we weren't friends before. We didn't court, we didn't date, we didn't do anything.
You just married?
We just got married. And that is a thing everybody should really watch out for. I think you should know the guy very well and all that before you would decide to
Mom
marry.
Agreed?
Yeah.
How long were you together before Daryl came?
Actually, immediately he said he wanted to, so we went to see my parents. We just started counseling. So 6 to 7 months we got married. And then when I got married...
He attends your church?
No.
He is part of the foster home?
Pastor.
Oh. Gets interesting.
Yeah, he is. I don't know whether he's still, because we don't even know where he is as we speak now. He doesn't take care of the child or anything, so we don't know anything about him as we speak now.
Attends your church?
No. It's in another church. And I have pursued it.
How did he see you go to the foster home?
Because we were always assigned to go and take care of the kids.
He also comes there?
Yeah, actually, the foster home is, I think, is owned by his cousin. So he also comes there to, I don't know, to help out or something.
I see.
So that's how come he saw. So he didn't see me anywhere. We saw me in the church. Yeah.
So you got married?
Yeah, we got married. I think my engagement was on 28th of August, 2007. And the wedding was on 1st of September, 2007. That was a Thursday and a Saturday.
I see.
It was a raining day, I remember.
And the prince came along, Daryl, right?
Yeah, it's Daryl.
What happened?
Yeah, after we got married, and I think because we didn't know each other, we started having problems from the word go. Yes, but should I say fortunately or unfortunately, we never did anything before. As I said, I never visited him or anything. So the first time he saw me was the wedding night. So then I think I just took seed there and then. So after a month or so, I realized that I was changing. So I went to the hospital and it was confirmed. Then they told me I was pregnant with twins.
Good news.
Yes, it was good at then. So then, unfortunately, there was this girl, my ex-husband said the girl was a distant cousin's daughter. By then, you could see I was still like a bit naive. Not really naive, but I still thought like a child and everything because I was just from school and not really, yeah. So, not knowing the girl had a different story, not knowing the girl was not related to him in any way. It's just that the girl comes from the same village that his dad comes from. So then we were living with the girl. Eventually, this girl became like the wife, and I became like the house help in the house. Why am I saying that? When I took seed, every woman changes. I don't know about the rest, but I had different, like for instance, if I'm cooking and I just touch onions, oh God, I don't know. I feel some way and I can't really do much. So please, I want to plead with the men. When your wives are pregnant, you should know that that is not the real them. So just have some time and accommodate them. If they still do it after giving birth, that is when you have a cause to complain. But you should know that when you are pregnant, so many like hormonal changes and so many things. So if your wife is nagging, if your wife is doing so many other things, please just enjoy it for that period. After you have your nice baby, I'm sure
chewing ice, spitting, vomiting.
I actually was spitting from the time I got pregnant, even at the labor ward.
Wow.
I was vomiting. Anything that goes in comes out.
Oh dear.
And it was like pregnancy was something. Maybe that's why I'm holding on a bit. But pregnancy too, it wasn't so pleasant to me. Yes. So due to one or two, so many things were happening in the house. And I think he was also like not used to something like that. But even if you are not used to it, counselors are there. They are there to help, even after marriage. It's like Ghana, after marriage, when you get married, you are done with your counselors. But I feel we should, maybe my little experience has taught me.
Continue counseling, huh?
Yes, because we did counseling and all that. But
anyway, so you were expecting twins?
Yes. So at the long run, this girl that I in question, the lady who was staying with us, one day he came home and the lady told my husband, my ex-husband, that I had cooked and I didn't give her. Just that. I still remember it like it was just yesterday. Just for saying that, I didn't give her. He didn't really ask anything. He just started shouting and shouting and shouting. I was like, hey, why? What have I done? I don't know what he has gone through that day.
Why didn't you give her food?
The food was there. It was just at the kitchen. I don't know why she did that. Up to date, I don't just know why. So at a point in time, we started talking. And it became like a bit hot. And then he actually slapped me.
Ouch.
Yes. He slapped me. So I just fell. I didn't know what really happened, but I think 2 days later, I realized I was bleeding a bit. So then I had to go to see my gynecologist. So I went to see him, and he told me to go for an X-ray to go for an ultrasound. Yes. So when I went for the ultrasound, I realized that I was still bleeding. He told me that one was gone, one was destroyed, but the other one is okay, and it was still coming out. So I should wait for a while, and then maybe the rest will come. Then the other one can be saved. I think after another 2 days, I went back to do another ultrasound, and they told me the other one too was gone. So I needed to do a DNC so that it can. And he gave me like 42 hours because it's like something, an unwanted something in your system. If you don't take it out, it will just rupture the womb or something. And I told my husband that by then, because of that, we weren't really on good terms. And I told him, because of the pregnancy too, I had to stop work and come because, I work with clients. and, you know, spitting and vomiting and all that. It's so uncomfortable with the client and myself. So I came home. So then I didn't have money. So I told him that this is the issue. I'm saying this on air today because I think it's high time I should say this. He told me he didn't have money and I had limited time. So at a point in time, I had to call my family, which I had never done. And I had to lie to them that my husband has traveled. And this is what had happened to me. So I need assistance like, as soon as possible. And I want to say this to my sister, Mrs. Gladys Shringa. She's a lecturer at Legon. The husband is a lecturer. That's where my son is right now.
Okay.
She did so well. I don't know whether the money was from her or from my mom. I don't know who it's from though. But from Spinkters, we were living around Kotobabi Down. From Spinkters to Kotobabi Down, within less than 2 hours. By then, traffic was very serious on the Spintex road. She was already at my residence. And she took me to the hospital. She brought the money to me. And then she took me to the hospital. And the doctor said, book us for tomorrow, the next day. And unfortunately, this guy, I don't know why he married me, seriously. All I can say that he wanted this, the wife factor because of his position. So he needed someone to be called a wife so that, you know, when you're married, you're respected. When you're married, you have a different kind of, even at the labor ward, let me give you this funny story. When you go there, the nurses look at your finger, whether you're wearing a ring. Not just your finger, but the things you bring to the hospital, you know, when you are going to give birth, they give you a list of items to bring. Even the bag that contains the things, it will tell the nurses or the whatever that, hey, Charlie, baby, so they treat you. I'm not saying this, but it's a real thing. I mean, it's happening.
They assess.
Oh, yeah. They assess you with everything.
Check the ring, the bag, how stuffed it is.
You know, even the ring, I'm sure they you know the Captain Planet kind of ring. And that's just by the way, yeah. So they brought the things. My sister brought the money. The next day, instead of him to take me to the hospital to do it, he went to work. So I called again because you don't know what will happen. It was scary. I didn't know what it's all about. It's like I saw it as like an operation. So then I called again, and my uncle from Labadi, Pamai Junction, that was close to where I was. Could you believe he came? And whilst the process was going, he was waiting for me. That's my uncle, Uncle Joseph Okante. Yeah, he came and he was there with me throughout. By the time I came out, then I realized that the man had come after the bills have been paid and everything. But you know, there should be a red light for everybody, every young lady out there. Marriage is not everything.
So this time you lost the twins?
Yes. That's how come they did a DNC to bring everything out. And they washed the womb.
But then along the line, you got pregnant again?
Oh, seriously? Seriously?
We're going to take a quick break, and then we are coming straight back. Don't move.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for staying, and we are getting to the harrowing part of the story. With me in the studio is Rachel Nakokoi. Brave woman and a mother with a very, very big heart, and you'll soon find out. So we've lost the twins.
Yeah.
And you got pregnant again.
Yes, I got pregnant again. That's with Daryl. Yes. So actually, after the DNC and everything, the doctor told me that I could get pregnant again so soon. But I stayed away from sex for a while before eventually. I think the very first time we did it, I got pregnant again. So I started my antenatal. Actually, I did everything. I did my antenatals and everything. Eventually, I was due. This time, the baby stayed but unfortunately for me, at a point in time, my husband physically assaulted me again. And he did it like again and again. So actually, I moved out to my parents' house. Oh. So when I moved in there till date, 9 years.
So that was the end of the marriage then?
Yeah. So eventually
you
came...
moved out and then gave birth, or you gave birth before you moved out?
I moved out before I gave birth. Okay. But when I gave birth, I tried to come back. So what happened was that when I gave birth to Daryl, after 3 days, he became like, I was a fresh mother. I didn't know all about babies and all that. So I thought I had given birth to a very fair baby, a very like Obroni child. Yes, not knowing the child had neonatal jaundice.
Okay.
He was like yellow, kind of. So I want to say a shout out to Dr. Malia J of Healthline. He's my uncle. Actually, he came around for a program in my house, and he was like, Rachel, you have to rush this baby to the hospital as soon as possible. Unfortunately, when I got to the hospital where I gave birth, they told me to just go and expose the boy to the sun, and he'll be fine. And my uncle was like, no way, I should ask for a transfer. So sometimes we the mothers, you have to be a bit aggressive with the doctors. So it's like, are you supposed to tell me what to do? Is it your job? But he told me to insist. So I asked for a transfer to 37. And I want to say this, the reason why I'm mentioning 37 is that they've done so well. When I got to 37, it was like everything, I went to the pedics side, everything came to the standstill. There's this doctor lady there, she just took the child, you know, he was so like 3-day-old baby, very fresh. So it was like 3.8, so it was quite big. Then they took him to the place, they started looking for his veins, for IVs. By then I didn't really know much about these things. Then they started, at a point in time, this is one of the hardest parts that I'm going to say. They took my baby away, and then one doctor came to me and was like, Madam, what we are going to do to your baby is a 50-50 chance. Something called blood exchange. So they'll take, I know that I learned the jaundice has climbed to the brain, the cerebral part of the brain. So it has started destroying certain parts of the brain. So they had to take all the blood out and replace it with a different blood. Wow.
Sounds scary.
It is. So you can imagine everybody having their babies in a cot, and yours has been taken to whichever room, and they are doing the blood. And I learned if there's a clot or something, then that is it.
How supportive was Pastor husband by this time?
Before I left the house after, that was like 3 days right after giving birth. We actually called him though, but he didn't show up.
Give any reason?
No, he doesn't owe anybody like anything. And you know, at a point in time when I gave birth later, before they had to call the case as in family and other things, before I was at home one day, they brought a bailiff to bring me divorce papers and all that. But before then, Daryl was diagnosed with neonatal jaundice. So later when they did the blood exchange, before they told me that due to what happened to him, you have some kind of a bit of challenges, and maybe what is called cerebral palsy will come. And because those who go through that particular stage of exchange, after they did a phototherapy to take the jaundice out of him, but those who go through mostly come out sometimes like vegetables and all that. But I would say this to the glory of God, Daryl can walk. It's just that the balance is not too good as we speak now, and the speech is not good and the intellectual disability. But after that state, they brought the baby back to me, and the baby was put in a cot, and we stayed in the hospital almost like 7 days. After that, we went home, and this man didn't still show up. It took a while. So he didn't even, you can imagine, you were married, you were legally married. Because of that, when it happened, I didn't go straight to my house. I went to my grandmom's house at Labadi. And one Auntie Teresa, they were the people taking care of me. After I gave birth, I went back to Spintex. Because everybody saw you get married. Ghana society has their own perception. Now that you are married, you've given birth to a sick child and everything. So I don't know when he got to know that the boy has a problem. Oh, he didn't show up at all. So eventually, I had to take him to Dovsu. Just to take, because currently I spend over 1,200 on his medications almost every month.
Wow. And
you ask, how much am I being paid? And for now, everything, like my whole life, I don't have any life savings now. Because Daryl is my building, Daryl is my car, Daryl is my everything. Because, he gets seizures, frequent seizures, almost every month. We used to go to the hospital for admission.
Let me go to the phone lines, and then we'll come back, and then you educate us on cerebral palsy a little bit. 0302 211 691, 0302 211 691 or 692, 0302 211 691 or 692. You have literally 2 minutes to tell us something harrowing that your mother has done for you or is doing for you. And also, if you go to the Joy News Facebook, put your comment there, and Aisha Ibrahim will print it out for me to read it out for you. But what's cerebral palsy and how difficult is it to manage a patient?
Cerebral palsy is a medical condition. Let me make it a little bit, let me explain it a bit so that everybody will know what it really is. You know, there are some children that they say they are from the water. Some are saying they are from the gods, and so on.
All that, yeah.
Yes. Some have they do their mouth as in saliva coming out. Some don't have neck control. Some can't even sit. Some can't swallow. Some can do so many things. You have different stages of cerebral palsy. It depends on the part of brain, the part of the brain that it was damaged. For you and I, if there's fire and I put my hand in the fire, you know, it will just travel into my brain and tell me that it's burning. So I just take my hand off. But with them, you know, they call something, they have a slow milestone. Before the message will get to the brain, it's so slow. They're already bent. So that is why we are also creating awareness. It is not a contagious disease at all. I have a lot of mothers. We have, some of us the mothers, we the brave ones, we've come together to form something called Cerebral Palsy Ghana. And we try to educate. Even tomorrow we are having a meeting at 37. When we come, it's a very wonderful kind of meeting because people come and cry their hearts out. People say their experiences. You know, you just have a child like this. You sit in a public transport, that's a church roll, and somebody would not even want to sit beside you because they feel, if they sit beside you, they might give birth to a child like that, or they might even be infected, or their children will be infected. That is how come the stigma is very serious. That is how come a lot of people are hiding their children in their rooms. People are doing so many things with their children.
Who do I have? Hello, let's go to Wale Wale. Samuel.
Hello, Nana.
Samuel, good evening, and 2 minutes. Tell me your beautiful story about your mother.
Yeah, good evening, Nana. I'm Samuel from Wale Wale, and I've been monitoring all your shows. I'm very... Hello, Nana?
I'm listening, Samuel.
Yes, I've been monitoring all your shows, and I'm very happy whenever I'm watching PM Express.
Well,
I'm a physically challenged person.
Okay.
I use a wheelchair. I'm a wheelchair-bound disabled person. But through the effort of my mother, today I am a university graduate.
Wow.
From University of Education, Winneba.
Wow.
It is not easy, actually, to be a disabled person without a good mother by your side. And my case is even worsened by the fact that my mother has two disabled children.
Wow.
And sometimes I feel happy for the woman that she's able to take care of us. It's difficult to have two disabled children who are wheelchair bound. And this mother has endured and brought us up gradually. I started schooling. He would bus me every morning to school from primary 1 to the junior high school, where I got a distinction to one of the best secondary schools in Ghana, Notre Dame Minor Seminary in Navrongo. Even with the condition, through the effort of my mother, I went to a boys' school on the same wheelchair.
Wow.
Completed, proceeded straight to University of Education, Winneba. And today, he still supports me to take my bath. And today, God being so good, I am a classroom teacher.
Amen.
That is what my mother has done for me.
Wow. Samuel, let me just quickly ask, is your mother educated?
Yeah, he had the bit of the Form 4 A-level kind of education.
Sure, sure. Okay.
He can speak English, he can read and write, but due to the difficulties he has encountered, the reading rate has deteriorated. But still, you can speak good English.
Samuel, thank you very much for that. That was one beautiful.
And one surprising thing is that through the effort of my mother, today I am married to a beautiful lady comfortably.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Samuel, next time you will be on my show.
I will be grateful. I'll be monitoring your shows.
Thank you very much, Samuel. But that was a fantastic story. That was another beautiful story. That's another beautiful story. And I'm sure Daryl was very lucky to have had a mother.
I wanted to talk about the parts. There was a time that I became kind of like a mad person.
Wow.
Yes, because
stress.
Yes, stress and everything, and having a child like that with a stigma and everything, you are like protective. You want to really do something to protect yourself and everything. So even in my house, my mom and the rest were having problems with me, as in like, could you believe that I'll be feeding my boy, I'll be breastfeeding Daryl, and I'll forget that I'm breastfeeding him. He'll be asleep, and the breast milk will just be, I'll be all wet, and I wouldn't even know that I'm breastfeeding. I don't know, I just get off myself. And at a point in time, I even talked to people anyhow, and I saw that I needed help. So I had to go to the psychiatric hospital myself. I walked in there, and I told them that, having a problem like, I don't really know what I did to my husband, even up to now, that he left us unattended to, up to date. I don't know. So it's like you're thinking, what did I do wrong? How did I do it? Is this something I didn't do right? You're thinking about all these things and you don't find any answers to it.
But you think he left maybe because of Daryl's condition?
Yeah, I could say that. Because no matter what, even with Daryl's condition, I think if you're a father and you have a child somewhere, please, even buying just cocoa for a child every day, you can calculate within a year how much it costs. So for me, sometimes I can go without food, without anything. At a point, I was eating once a day, so I can be able to afford, because of the way I was talking to my mom and everything. At a point in time, everybody just left us, so we're all by ourselves. Daryl was like, I was buying food, I was buying diapers, and because of his condition too, he didn't walk early. So as we speak now, I have a spinal problem.
From constantly lifting?
Yes, because I've been carrying him at my back almost all the time, and he was big. He was growing, so the weight became a bit, and you have to take him. And when he has seizures, there's nothing you can do than to carry him, rush him. There was a time that by then I didn't really know how to manage seizures. So, or let's say convulsion. So it's like there was a day I went to the hospital with him, and I realized I wasn't in panties and braziers. I was just in a raw something. I realized this in the morning because the thing happened at dawn. I was just waking up, and you become like that's some of the sacrifices we do. You become like a mad person. You don't really know what or how, especially with a child like that. You can imagine constant seizures. And after every seizure, it damages a part of the brain.
Ouch.
So for me, like, and the company I'm working with too, I have to say they've done well. In fact, they've accommodated me for a long time now, which I should say, because
so give them credit.
Yes, I want to say thank you to Mr. Bernard Boama of Enterprise Life. I'm a sales representative there now. Yes.
Well, Enterprise Life, big ups to Enterprise Life.
Yes, yes. So
others
Auntie Jackie being, that's our CEO, so I want to say thank you to all of them. Sometimes, in every month, you have a target to meet. But the boy goes to the hospital, sleeps after like 2 weeks or a week, and then comes back to recover with some days. So how many days do you have to work? So you can't meet your target. And sometimes, in a corporate institution, your boss will be on you. Sometimes you rain a lot of words and all that. But you still have to accommodate it because that is the kind of situation you are. And it's unfortunate that it's not curable. It is for life. So I'm living with Daryl with this condition for life. And in Ghana, we don't have institutions to actually get their interests so they can develop that particular interest. But if you go to there's the special schools that we have even in Accra, my dear, you can't even, some of us, and an average Ghanaian can't afford.
Wow.
Because if you take the child there, you have to get a caregiver, as in you have to get someone to go with the child to take care of. So why don't I rather keep the child and then get the person to do? Because there was a day I could see Dar wanted to say something to me. He was trying to communicate something to me, but because his speech is just not there, he was like, Mama, he can say Mama. It was like, Mama, Mama. He wanted to tell me something, and I didn't get it. So at a point in time, he had to hold my hand and then take me to a place. He was like, he wanted something, he wanted food. So he just showed me that this is what he wanted. So they have special ways of communicating. But there are some that are wheelchair bound. They just can't do anything.
Wow.
They are just there, like vegetables. You can imagine a 9-year-old child taking Cerelac. How many tins of Cerelac can that person take? Because the person can't take solids. Even with the banku, you have to do it very soft and with okra so it can slip through the throat. So there are two, apart from his medications, we have so many. Sometimes he has to be on a particular diet. I remember in June, he was put on wholemeal. You can imagine. I have to give him like brown bread, wheat, wholemeal kind of thing, and then full cream milk. You know, we have the normal evaporated milk, but when you go to the full cream milk, you can mostly get in the supermarket and all that. So you can imagine mothers who can afford, mothers who can't do anything. Most of them, sometimes I don't blame some of the mothers because they can't take care of the children. It's so serious because I'm sure we're having a program. Because of that, I've just poured myself and I've just laid myself down to help people, especially with cerebral palsy, because I also have a child like that. On the 27th, and especially if it's your firstborn, it is so difficult. But now we have so many other mothers who are still married with supportive husbands, and they've given birth to 2, 3, 4 children, and they are all okay. So it doesn't mean that if you give birth to one, you give birth to another and another and another. No, it's just like you can still go on and give birth. So on the 27th of this month, I want to say thank you to Mensvik Hotel. That's Mr. Stephen Williams. He's also done so much for us, as in the cerebral palsy. On the 27th, he's giving us his venue, and he's bringing some doctors from the US to take care of these children for free. They are going to have a clinic and a health talk and everything, and they are bringing drugs and everything. So please, if you have a child with cerebral palsy, please make it to Mensvik Hotel
on the 27th.
On the 27th. It's like, you know, a lot of people have locked their children in the room because of the stigma. People don't even know they have children. Like, I have a friend who does not go to the family house because of the child, because she doesn't want anybody to know that she has that kind of child. And if you take them to the hospital, maybe when we are done with the people, then we can take care of you. So even the doctors and other people, they also stigmatize us.
Let me just catch up with a couple of messages that you have sent. Joanna Savimbi says, Nana, my mom is a spontaneous song of my heart, of happiness, comfort, and being. I may forget the words, but always remember the tune. She's the core of whom I am. To all African mothers, we love you. And Prince Nuruddin Baumia, I wonder why people with special needs are so discriminated in our society nowadays. We must change our attitude, period. Allah grant us good health and have mercy on us. And Makante Matthew says, this is heart-touching, and we should not discriminate against such people because it's not their own fault that they are suffering from such sickness. Mr. Bello Greg, why are people wicked like this? God save us. And Mr. Bello comes in again and he says, I love this show. Thank you very much for watching. So you, apart from dealing with the difficulty of looking after Daryl, then you have us two in the background also throwing stigma and everything. So you have to deal with that too.
Yes. Especially if you are living in a compound house. I happen not to live in a compound house. But I have a friend. I mean, you know, we have cerebral palsy Ghana, so we come and share our experiences. The landlord says she can't accommodate them anymore. She also, like, she was living there before she got pregnant and she gave birth, and unfortunately she had a child with special needs. The landlord says that she can't have this in her home. And you know, it's so unfortunate that people will come and say like, oh, I know somebody, let's go and see the person. We need to understand that it is a medical condition. It is not, it is a medical condition. It is not anything. So let me ask this, I always ask this question on air. So those in the US with this kind of diseases, those in the UK with this kind of, which of the waters would you associate with that to them?
River Thames. Or the Mississippi.
Okay, so, but Ghana here
right,
is so serious. And so I have a very sad story that I'm going to tell you right now. One of us actually went to visit her in-laws in the central region somewhere. She just went to visit and she took the child along. Little did she know that they had plans for the child. So it's like the in-law was holding the child, like playing with the child, put the child at the back. So she thought, I mean, you can't stop your mother-in-law from taking care of it. So she went to take her bath, and then she was just doing something. But she realized that, it's been hours. The child is not back. The in-law is back in the house. It's like, oh, not knowing they had gone to.
Wow.
Yes.
And
you could imagine. Yeah, it happened.
Wow.
And the lady was like, I didn't say I can't take care of this child. I never said anything. So they just took the child, and up to date,
that's it.
The child has not been seen. And in Ghana here, people are saying that you don't get older people with such conditions. It's because of some of these things. They take them to the forest, they leave them. They take them to the riverside, they leave them. And when they leave them, sometimes it can be a wild animal. And they'll say the water has come to take the child away. Even if you go to the beach and you are a normal person, sometimes the water takes people away. So if you put a child like that there, definitely the water will sweep the child there. The fishes will.
Wow.
So many superstitions. Please, I want to plead with the public. I mean, it is not a contagious disease. Look at me. If I don't tell you I have a child like that, you wouldn't know. I'm the same person that when I'm holding my child, you would be somewhere with me. But if I'm walking alone and I'm coming, you approach me and everything.
I want your number.
My number?
I mean,
yeah, they'll even want my number. But if you see that I have this child, then hey, please, I mean, and they are like, this is not in my family. But have you checked my family too? I don't also have that in my family. So for all you know, it is not something that is hereditary. It is not a hereditary thing, and it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. So people should stop stigmatizing us. Because I really know what it means to be stigmatized. Especially if you don't have a car, you sit in a trotro, and then you have to buy the seat next to you because nobody wants to sit in that seat. Eventually, you would have to, if the one mate was so cruel to the extent that he made a mother get down from the trotro because nobody wants to sit there, and you also want the trotro to be full and move on.
How frustrating would it be? I mean, here's Daryl just wanting to say, look, I want my Cerelac or something, and she's saying, ma, and it's not coming. I mean, how?
You see, that is one of the challenges we have. You know, you see everybody's child running about, playing, saying their rhymes, doing all sorts of things, and then you look at your own child and he can't do much. He can't really talk to you. My dear, I won't say it's easy for me. It is not. Because everybody has a dream before you, like when you're growing up. Oh, I'll get married, I'll give birth, how are you going to dress your children, how are you going to do this, how are you going to do that. Sometimes I just stay in the room and I just cry. I get so emotional certain times because it's, even in the churches they stigmatize us.
You ask why me?
Yeah, I asked why me. At a point in time, I asked why me. And this thing came into my mind. why me? If it's not you, then who should it be? So I think God has a reason for giving me such a child. And through this child, if it's not Daryl, I wouldn't be sitting here today. If it's not Daryl, I wouldn't get other media platforms. If it's not Daryl, I wouldn't have people who can walk to me, other mothers too. Right now, I'm more or less like a counselor. Because sometimes when some of the mothers, the fresh mothers come to 37, they can call me on phone to talk to some of them. So I'm now, in a way, not just me, with other mothers too, Kolebu and Auntie Sandra, the head of physio at Kolebu, Sandra, Mrs. Sandra Asante. I want to also say thank you to her. She has really pushed us to come. She and then one lady at Dorothy, they've really pushed us to come together. And I think it has really helped. It has really, really helped because, you come and if people are not in the same situation, they wouldn't understand you.
Where you're coming from.
Yes. But if they are also in the same, and most of the time, you become like, people mock you. They try to empathize or sympathize with you, but they end up mocking you. But if you have the same kind, you know that we are all sharing, it's genuine tears, it's genuine concern, and all that.
Two words to mothers. Two.
Yes.
Normally everybody says one, but I give you 2 words to mothers. What would you wish mothers out there?
I want to tell every mother that, first of all, Ayoko, it's not easy to have a child in your womb for 9 months and then bring the child out. That is the first thing. Thank you to all mothers. Even those who don't have biological children and they are taking care of other children. I want to say thank you. The first thing is to say thank you to them. And then the second thing is to say to every mother, don't give up.
Oh, wow. What did I tell you from the beginning of the show? That without mothers, we are all doomed. I don't think many men have that strength. Indeed, there are 1 or 2 men who are, maternal in spirit, but generally, the strength of a woman is not to be understated. I want to say, happy Mother's Day to you, Rachel.
Thank you.
And to all my mothers out there. And I tell you what, I have hundreds. If I start listing now, Yao and Aisha are probably going to kick me off this show. Hundreds and hundreds of mothers. And I wish you all a happy Mother's Day. And we say Ayiko and a big thank you. I give you this number before I leave all the time, and it's 024 366 2001. 024 366 2001. That's Dante's Fashions. They make my shirts for the show, and they make for women as well. So maybe you can get one for Mother's Day for the mothers in your life. We'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you very much. And